Hello, friends. Welcome to today's story. Today, we are traveling back in time more than 1,000 years ago to southwestern Europe, to a country that today is known as Spain. At first glance, Spain appears to be a deeply Christian nation. Even today, nearly 97% of its population identifies as Roman Catholic Christian. But what if I told you that for nearly 750 years, large parts were the Muslims ruled by Spain? Yes, Spain is the only country in Western Europe that was ruled by Islamic rulers for centuries, and not just ruled, but transformed into one of the most advanced civilizations of the medieval world. This period, known as Al-Andalus, is considered by many historians to be Spain's greatest golden age. But how did Muslims reach Spain? How did they rule for so long? And why did such a powerful civilization eventually collapse? Today's video answers all of these questions. So let's begin. Background: from the Roman Empire to chaos. To understand Islamic Spain, we must first understand what existed before it. The Roman Empire, which originated in Rome, once controlled most of Europe, parts of North Africa, and the Middle East. However, by the 3rd century CE, the empire began to weaken. In 285 CE, the Roman Empire was divided into two parts: the Western Roman Empire, the Eastern Roman Empire, Byzantine Empire. While the Eastern Empire survived for centuries, the Western Roman Empire collapsed in 476 CE. After its fall, Western Europe, including Spain, was divided into small, unstable kingdoms. Spain came under the control of the Visigoths, a Germanic tribe. But Visigothic Spain suffered from political infighting, weak leadership, religious conflict, lack of unity. This instability made the region extremely vulnerable. The rise of Islam. Meanwhile, far to the east, a new power was rising. In the 7th century, Prophet Muhammad founded Islam in the Arabian Peninsula. Within decades of his death, Muslim armies expanded rapidly under the Umayyad Caliphate. By the early 8th century, Muslim rule stretched from the Indus River in South Asia to North Africa, right up to the gates of Europe. Spain, known then as Hispania, was now within reach. The Islamic conquest of Spain, 711 CE. In 711 CE, a Muslim general named Tariq ibn Ziyad crossed the narrow sea strait between North Africa and Europe with only 7,000 soldiers. That strait is now called Gibraltar, derived from Jabal al-Tariq, the mountain of Tariq. Spain's Visigothic king, Roderick, assembled a massive army of 25,000 to 30,000 troops to stop him. Despite being outnumbered, Tariq ibn Ziyad achieved a decisive victory at the Battle of Guadalete. King Roderick was killed, and Visigothic resistance collapsed almost instantly. Within 7 years, nearly the entire Iberian Peninsula came under Muslim control. This region was renamed Al-Andalus. Why the conquest was so fast? Muslims did not face major resistance because the Visigothic state was already collapsing. Many local populations were oppressed by heavy taxes. Jews and minorities welcomed Muslim rule due to religious tolerance. By 728 CE, Visigothic Spain had completely disappeared from history. Muslims moved toward Europe. Muslim forces even crossed the Pyrenees Mountains into modern-day France. However, in 732 CE, they were stopped by Charles Martel at the Battle of Tours. This halted further expansion, but Muslim rule in Spain remained strong. The Umayyad escaped and a new beginning. In 750 CE, the Umayyad Caliphate was overthrown by the Abbasids in the Middle East. Almost every Umayyad prince was killed, but one man survived: Abd al-Rahman I. He escaped across North Africa and reached Spain, where in 756 CE, he founded the Umayyad Emirate of Cordoba, independent from Baghdad. This marked the true beginning of Islamic Spain's golden age, the golden age of Al-Andalus. Between the 8th and 10th centuries, Al-Andalus became the most advanced society in Europe. Cordoba, jewel of the world, one of the largest cities on earth, over 500,000 residents, paved streets and street lighting, public baths and hospitals, over 70 libraries. While much of Europe lived in darkness, Cordoba shone as a beacon of knowledge, science, medicine, and learning. Muslim Muslim Spain led Europe in mathematics, astronomy, medicine, philosophy, engineering. Doctors in Al-Andalus performed surgeries unknown elsewhere in Europe. Ancient Greek and Roman knowledge was preserved, translated, and expanded. This knowledge later helped ignite the European Renaissance, a multicultural society. One of the most remarkable features of Al-Andalus was coexistence. Muslims, Christians, and Jews lived together under Islamic rule. This system, called convivencia, allowed religious freedom, cultural exchange, intellectual collaboration. Although non-Muslims paid extra taxes, historians agree that religious tolerance was far greater than anywhere else in medieval Europe. The peak, the Caliphate of Cordoba. In 929 CE, Abd al-Rahman III declared himself caliph, making Cordoba the rival of Baghdad and Cairo. At this time, Al-Andalus was Europe's richest economy. Trade flourished across the Mediterranean. Art, poetry, and architecture reached new heights. This was truly Spain's golden age, the beginning of decline. By the 11th century, cracks began to appear. After strong rulers died, internal conflicts weakened the state. In 1031, the caliphate collapsed into small, independent kingdoms called taifas. These taifas fought each other instead of uniting. This division proved fatal. The Reconquista begins Christian kingdoms in the north, such as Castile, Leon. Aragon began a long campaign called the Reconquista, meaning reconquest. It was a slow process, lasting nearly 800 years. North African intervention. To resist Christian advances, Muslim rulers invited help from North Africa. First, the Almoravids, then the Almohads. While they temporarily united Muslim Spain, they were less tolerant, creating internal unrest. In 1212, the Almohads were decisively defeated at the Battle of Las Navas de Tolosa. This marked the irreversible decline of Muslim power. The last Muslim state, Granada. By the 13th century, only one Muslim kingdom remained, the Emirate of Granada. Protected by mountains and diplomacy, Granada survived for 250 more years. It became a final refuge of Islamic culture, art, and architecture, giving us masterpieces like the Alhambra Palace. The final fall, 1492. In 1469, the marriage of Ferdinand of Aragon, Isabella of Castile unified Christian Spain. After a 10-year siege, Granada fell in 1492. With that, 750 years of Muslim rule in Spain came to an end. Conclusion: the fall of Islamic Spain remains one of the greatest civilizational collapses in history, yet its legacy lives on. In European science, in architecture, in language, in the Renaissance itself, Al-Andalus proved that knowledge, tolerance, and unity can create a civilization unmatched by its time. And that is the forgotten story of Islamic Spain.